Let's show him just how strong we've become. Decidueye, use Razor Leaf. Dodge it.
Candle Cold. What is up, everyone? Recently, I participated in a tournament against some of the absolute best battlers in the world. During my run, I didn't just face one, not just two, but 3 regional champions. So, the skill level at this tournament was super high, and somehow I managed to win it all. Today, I'll be showcasing some of my favorite battles from my Night Owl Cup sweep. This tournament was hosted by my friend and fellow content creator Inadequate, who likes to host a ton of different tournaments, especially Open Grey League practice tournaments. So if you're interested in joining those, put a link to his socials down in the description below. This tournament, however, was one of his specially themed prize money cups. This time he wanted to create a meta where Decidueye could shine. So he put a ton of restrictions on which Pokemon you could use, and that allowed Decidueye to be the absolute god in this cup. Team building in this format worked as follows. Your team has 6 slots and you have to fill these slots in accordance with this graph. So for slot 1, everyone's picking Decidueye. In slot 2, you have the choice between Double and Vigoroth, and in slot 3, you have the choice between 3 fighters, and so on and so forth. For my team, in slot 1, I'm picking Decidueye, of course, but here there are already decisions to make in regards to its moveset. Cause movesets will be set from round 1, and there is no TMing allowed between rounds. On top of that, your opponents will also be able to see your movesets. So there's a lot of decisions to make here. On the Decidueye, its charge attacks are pretty easy to pick. Frenzy Plant, Spirit Shackle is just the way to go. But with the fast attack, it gets interesting. You can run Leafage on the Decidueye, and that would make it the ultimate generalist in this meta, pretty much getting hard countered by nothing. Or you can run Astonish Decidueye. Now, Astonish Decidueye is a lot worse into the rest of the meta, especially against the normal types. You will now lose these matchups. But Astonish Decidueye is the best counter in the meta to Leafage Decidueye. So that's why ultimately I decided to go with the Astonish variant, because I figured since everyone's definitely running Decidueye on their team, I'd rather have mine be as strong as possible versus the Decidueye. In slot 2, I picked Double, again because it's better versus that Decidueye with Payback. In slot 3, I went with Surfetch. It's just the fastest to get to the charge stacks of the 3, and as that Night Slash Leaf Blade coverage can come in real handy. Slot 4 was honestly the most difficult to pick from for me. Initially, I was considering going with Lantern for the bulk, or Electivire to get to Ice Punches or Flamethrowers really quickly, but ultimately I decided to go with Shadow Ampharos, as I think the Volt Switch fast attack damage is really nice, and it also has Brutal Swing for coverage against the Decidueye. Slot 5 and 6, I went with Mewtwo to start, Shadow Mewtwo, because it is just so strong in this meta. There's not much bulk in this meta, so Side Strike almost one-shots everything. So I figured if I can get shields down, Mewtwo can really go to town. And then for my 6th slot, I really considered between Greedent, Quaquaval, and Azumarill, but ultimately I decided to go with Azumarill, which may seem a little weird in a meta where the main Pokemon is a grass type, but I figured that I can still hit with Ice Beam, and having that nice bulk of Azumarill could be pretty nice as well. So ultimately, these were the 6 I decided to go with. Looking back at this team now, I think I'm very happy with the choices I made in this squad. If I could play this tournament again, there would be some Pokemon I would switch out, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's head into the tournament. More than 80 competitors joined up, which means it will be a 7-round Swiss bracket. And in round number 1, I'm already up versus a very tough opponent, the 2023 Sao Paulo regional champion, Leotard. He's also running Astonish Decidueye paired with Azumarill and Surfetched, but the other 3 Pokemon in his team are different than mine. He's running Electivire, Vigoroth, and Greedent. I think my Astonish Decidueye looks very good into his team as long as I can avoid the normal types, and even there I can hit him hard with Frenzy Plant. Then I quite like Azumarill too, as there's charge stacks to hit everything, and it just outbulks a lot of these Pokemon. Now, each match will be a best of 5, but I will not be showing every single battle. So this battle I'll showcase here is actually my second game versus Leotard, where I lead my Decidueye into his Electivire. Now, it's a fine matchup. I am resisting the fast attacks. My Astonishes are really adding up. Ice Punch will do a lot, however. As you can see, already almost brings me into the red, but Decidueye hangs on. He decides to try to catch a Spirit Shackle onto Vigoroth, but I was patient, I was expecting it. I did not throw the Spirit Shackle, so now I'm able to throw a Frenzy Plant into this Vigoroth, rebank another Frenzy Plant, and then switch into my Azumarill. And this play I make right here is pretty much my entire strat, or was my planned strat from the beginning of the tournament. This is why I had Azumarill on my team of 6, to soak energy, to farm Pokemon down, and then to unleash those charge attacks onto whatever my opponent brings in next. And my plan is working out perfectly in this game, as I'm able to soak all that energy from the Vigoroth and come out with 100 energy to throw whatever Ponyta brings in next. It brings out the Electivire now. I decided to throw Ice Beam. I figured he would shield, but unfortunately he did not. It's actually a good call by Ponyta, because now I have to shield up my Azumarill if I want to keep this energy. I was also figuring was Surf Edge in the back, which means this charge stack will come in quite handy. I could have gone Ice Beam here knowing that it would shield, but I was only going to get to 1 charge stack anyway, so I figured going for Play Rough is just a safe play. Go to Double now. Double also quite bulky, so I can take these counters and a Leaf Bait quite well. I shielded up just in case. I don't think I needed to shield that, since a Body Slam would have brought him quite low anyway, but like they have to throw their Leaf Blade pretty quickly now if they want to get rid of my Double before I farm him down. But since I had a Frenzy on my Decidueye loaded already, they knew they couldn't win and they let their Surf Edge go. GG. That's the final game we'll show from Ponyta. I ended up winning 4-1 versus him though. In round 2, I'm up versus Dialab Churng, the 2023 Vancouver Regional Champion. He's running Leafage Decidueye, which makes me feel very good about my own Astonished Decidueye and my Shadow Mewtwo. If I can combine these with some bulk, I think that's my path to victory. So that's what I did in pretty much all my battles versus Dialab. After 4 battles, I'd already won the set 3-1, but we're actually going to take a look at our 5th battle here, as it learned me a valuable lesson. I pick up a great lead there with my Shadow Mewtwo versus his Surf Edge and outcome Ampharos. And at that point I realized, oh, I don't really have a great response to Ampharos. Now, since I had a turn advantage with Mewtwo, I could throw 6 Side Cuts there and get off a Side Strike, but unfortunately Mewtwo is just way too squishy, can't get to 2 more Side Strikes, so I decided to switch out, try to catch a brutal swing onto my Azumarill, but unfortunately died up through a Thunder Punch. At this point, I just let Azumarill go down. I think if I can farm down this Ampharos with the Decidueye, I'm looking pretty good. But dial up, great timing, throws a brutal swing here without losing any turns he shouldn't. And he is gonna be able to get to another brutal swing here, which is just terrible. I have to put up another shield. Should be able to Astonish down now, though. Throw a Frenzy Plant onto this Surf Edge. He lets this go. I'm pretty sure I'm able to farm down. Oh, if I had undercharged it just a little bit, I think that would have been great. Or maybe just overfarmed. I probably could have overfarmed a little more before throwing that Frenzy Plant. Would have put me in a better spot. Now out comes Azumarill. Azumarill so bulky though, so Frenzy Plant won't even one-shot. Still, he shields up. Maybe I could have tried for a catch there, but Dialab, extremely good player. He probably would not have that happen. Now going to Mewtwo. Mewtwo has super high attack. Thunderbolt, maybe enough to knock out here. Azumarill also bulky though. Thunderbolt comes out. Is it enough? Unfortunately, it just is not enough. And the lesson I learned here is that pairing the Decidueye and Mewtwo together may not be the play, because you're just lacking bulk. And that Ampharos is an absolute monster if you don't counter it adequately. So in future matches, I decided to bring my Double and Surf Edge more often, just to make sure I got that threat of Shadow Ampharos covered. Round number 3, I'm up versus another great trainer, Decidueye, who's running the Leafage Decidueye, which normally would make me feel pretty good about running Astonished Decidueye and my Shadow Mewtwo, but he's also running Greedent, which is very good versus those two. So that core of the Decidueye Greedent is very strong for him, something I've definitely got to cover for. I think my Double is the best option there, especially since he's not running something like Azumarill to just eat up all my Body Slabs. I think Double is looking very good here. I'll always bring the Decidueye, to be honest, even if he's running Double normal, that's fine. And then there's a third. I go with Surf Edge here in game number 1 versus Decidueye. Since it's a Leafage Decidueye, I actually don't stay in with Double, because the 2-shield scenario there, if I don't bait, is absolutely terrible, and I didn't want that matchup to be bait dependent. So instead, I just switch into my Decidueye. And this may seem odd since I also have a Surfetch in the back, which doesn't have a great matchup versus Decidueye either. So switching out of that decent matchup with double may seem odd, but I'm totally fine with what's happening here right now. This Greedent is going to get rid of my Decidueye, and that's perfect. Look at the amount of health this Greedent has left. That is a very nice double kick farm down. And this will make it so that I may not even have to bait against the Decidueye if it comes back in. So, I'm just gonna take these body slams. I'm really not to worry about them. At this point, that damage is... I don't care about it, since a Frenzy would pretty much have knocked me out anyway, and this doesn't put me in Leafage farm down range yet, I'm pretty sure. Actually, after these counters it may, as he does bring out Surfetch right now. I'm gonna throw a body slam here. He lets it go. I could have thrown another body slam there, because if I would have gotten a shield, that would have been really, really nice. But if he had let it go, I think his Decidueye would have just leafaged down pretty much all of my Pokemon. So I decided to store that Body Slam on to my double, switch it to Surfetch, shield a Leaf Blade, farm down. Now I have energy on my Surfetch to throw at this incoming Decidueye. First Night Slash comes out now. Maybe I should throw immediately, because if I do get the boost, I'm going to be able to do more counter damage, I guess. But throwing on CMP was fine with me as well. Now I'll be able to get to another Night Slash. Remember, I'm like one away from a payback onto my double. So after this charge stack, I'm going to switch right out into it. Bilza tries to catch the payback onto whatever he had left, but it didn't happen. I have payback ready now. This will be enough to knock out the Decidueye. GG right there. So that was game number 1. I ended up winning 2 of the next 4 matches as well, beating Bilza Boy 3-2. Round 4, I'm up versus Blissfully. He's running a pretty interesting team with Leafage Decidueye, Vigoroth, Surfetch, regular Ampharos, Dedenne, and Quaquaval. Now that Dedenne Quaquaval combination is pretty annoying for me. My only real answers to Quaquaval are Azumarill and Ampharos, which Dedenne just beats. So this is an annoying team for me, but I think my own Decidueye always very good. I think double is very, very fine here, even though Quaquaval is a fighting type. You have a lot of player since they have to throw the close combat to knock you out, and I really quite like the look of Surfetch as well. In this game here, I lead my Decidueye versus the Quaquaval, which is pretty bad. Quaquaval does have super effective fast attacks in Wing Attack, and it will just outpace me to Aerial Ace before I can get to Frenzy Plant. So I decided to switch out into double, only to get met by Surfetch. So this is pretty much worst case scenario right here, but I figured that if I could burn both shields here, my Decidueye could likely farm down this Surfetch and have a Frenzy Plant loaded and ready to go for the Quaquaval. Second Body Slam comes out now. He does shoot it up, which is just incredible for me. Well, incredible, I don't know, because he still has a lot of energy on the Surfetch, but I think at least I have some play here now that shields are down. I'm going to take this Night Slash. He's going to get to another one rather quickly though, and I'm going to decide to let this go as well. I could have shielded this up, but I figured he was going to have the Den in the back, and if he has the Den in the back, my Surfetch will just go down to a play rough before I can take it out. So I figured having shields here, or at least one shield for Surfetch, was the way to go. The Den does seem to be in the back. Since he can switch to Quaquaval at any time now, it already has a little bit of energy, I decided to just farm up, since I want to have a Leaf Blade loaded for whenever the Quaquaval comes in. Comes out now. I know that Den is rather close to their discharge as well, so I need to undercharge this just a little bit to get an extra counter in, which I do, and now I should be able to outpace it Den to 2 Leaf Blades. Throw my first Leaf Blade here. He has a discharge loaded already, so it's gonna come down to whoever wins charge stack priority, which I just barely do. Leaf Blade comes through, takes out the Den, and this is just a showcase of how incredibly powerful Surfetch is in this meta. GG, I end up beating Blissfully 5-0. In round 5, I'm up versus Desync, a great player who's also running that annoying Decidueye Greedent combination. I'm my absolute closest best of 5 of the tournament versus him, and it came down to me having to win 2 battles in a row to clutch a 3-2 victory versus Desync. Unfortunately, I won't be showing any of those battles though. Even though they were pretty great, they were also very, very laggy. I had a lot of stutters. I lagged a couple turns. He definitely was stuttering as well. I saw him lag a couple turns as well. So the quality of the battles just wasn't the greatest, which is unfortunate because we actually had some very close games. But yeah, I did end up beating him 3-2. In round number 6, I'm up versus Ryblet, who you may remember for my Greninja Cup video. I was very fortunate to beat him there with a well-timed Scorching Sands debuff, so he's definitely looking for revenge. He's running an Astonished Decidueye and Galarian Zapdos, first one I'm seeing of the tournament, and I don't like it at all, because it hard walls my double and Surf Edge, two Pokemon I've been relying on a ton. So I left them on the bench just a little more in this best of 5, instead replacing it with Ampharos, which I do quite like in this matchup, as long as I can cover for the double and Surf Edge appropriately. This is gonna be our 4th game, I think. I lead my Decidueye into his. I just go straight Spirit Shackle here. I don't think I Soul will the CMP just yet, but I didn't really care. I do have Soul Tackle by Decidueye, but I also have enough HP to be able to survive enough Astonishes to get to 2 Spirit Shackles there. I already knew that from earlier in the tournament, so I knew it was safe to do that. Ryblet makes a very nice catch onto his Ampharos though. Doesn't do that much as he's running a regular Ampharos. Also means that this Brutal Swing won't really be threatening. I can let it go, farm up to 2 Brutal Swings of my own, and have energy loaded for whatever I bring in next. I'm expecting either the Galarian Zapdos or the Surf Edge now, so I think I'm just gonna go straight for Thunder Punch here, expecting the Decidueye to come out, but or maybe like a fighting type to resist the Brutal Swing. But I knew Thunder Punch would knock out the Decidueye as well, so just go for it. And now I make a massive mistake. The moment I pressed this shield, I knew I made a mistake, because if it is Surf Edge in the back with 1 counter advantage, it will beat my Azumarill on the 1 shield. So, and now it's gotten 2 counters, or even 3 counters advantage. So this is now looking really, really bad for me. Had I just no-shielded my Ampharos, I think I would have been able to pretty much just bubble down the Decidueye and win the game. But now, since I didn't, Surf Edge will just pop off. And, well, this game learned me another valuable lesson, and that's that you should always prepare about the Surf Edge, as it's just so scary. Game is not quite over just yet, though. If I can get a catch here, I'll be looking good. I was expecting to throw right before my Ice Beam, so actually wait 2 turns there, hoping he throws, trying to throw in the middle of my bubble. But no, Ryblet, very, very patient, farms down my Decidueye, and I lose that match. Now, that was actually the only game I lost versus Ryblet. I ended up beating him 4-1, but I figured I would show you that game, because it just shows how, you know, tight the margins are in these battles. One wrong call can cost you the entire game. With that in mind, I get to use everything I've learned and use it against my final and toughest opponent, PvP David, the only other undefeated trainer left in this tournament. He's running a very similar team to me. The only real difference is that he has the Den instead of a Azumarill and regular Ampharos instead of my Shadow Ampharos. I think that the Den especially could make things very, very difficult against me, because it beats Double, it beats Surf Edge, it beats Azumarill, and it beats my Shadow Ampharos. It can also beat my Mewtwo if it has 1 Thundershock advantage, and a Play Rough does so much versus Decidueye. So, pretty worried about that Pokemon, especially paired with Decidueye. It could be a real pain for me, as I really don't have a great core breaker for those two, except for my own Decidueye and Double. Double, of course, being a very good counter to his Astonished Decidueye, and then being alright versus the Den, as 2 Body Slams do pretty much knock out. So those two I'm definitely bringing almost every single game, and then my third really depends. I think Surf Edge can be quite good, because even though he does have a good counter to it into the Den, it can put in a lot of work everywhere else, and even against the Den, Surf Edge does so much. So, in game number 1 here, oh yes, I will be looking at every game I've played versus David, by the way. So this will be game number 1, and I lead Surf Edge into his Decidueye. Not a great lead, but it is very fine for Surf Edge. I can at least take a shield here, or take a ton of health from this Decidueye. Also, unless he has Double in the back, which I am not really expecting from his team, as a lot of trainers don't seem to be playing Double against me, my Decidueye will be very good in the back. So I decided to switch it in now, realizing the likely doesn't have a great answer to it in the back. I already have to use my second shield on this Spirit Shackle though, and now in comes the Surf Edge. So this is not looking great. I'm thinking already that I've probably lost this game, because his Surf Edge is just going to be so tough now. But we keep playing. I get the defense drop. That means I get a little bit more damage in with that Astonish. After this, I could probably bring out my Surf Edge now, start doing a bunch of damage with counters. Also, I'm close to the Leaf Blade, so I can outpace it. Throws right before it can get there. Deep into the red now. If he brings out the Decidueye now, I think I should get to the Night Slash. Or actually, no, I don't. So I have to switch out into double. Now I just hope there isn't a great answer double in the back. But I am again expecting that the Den. And that would be pretty rough right now. It already gets off a Frenzy. Brings me into a range where Discharge will pretty much knock out from the Den. I go for the Body Slam here. The 2 Thunder Shocks, it's 5 for Discharge. It's 7 for Play Rough. So I have to throw here before it gets to the Discharge. Otherwise, I would have gone for Payback, as Payback, even though it's resisted, does do slightly more than Body Slam. David, perfect counting, throws on the charge stack priority with my double, and this ends up being crucial. If I can farm down to the Den now with Surf Edge, I win the game, but because of that extra Thunder Shock he got in, he's able to just barely get to this Discharge, whilst I'm at Night Slash as well. On 1 HP to knock me out, which is just insane. And I got that farm down there, I would have had a Night Slash for the Decidueye, so that was crucial. Very, very close game, very well played by David, and I go 0-1 down. Next game, I bring the same line, not thinking he's gonna lead Surf Edge again, but he does. And I have a strategy this time. I was just gonna let Surf Edge go after I throw Night Slash, but since he threw immediately at 4 on alignment, I know this can only be Spirit Shackle, so I can let this go as well. So this is great now. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Now if he shoots this, that's ideal, I think, because then I have Surf, or the Decidueye shields up. I think if he no-shielded that, it would have been kind of tough for me still. But now Surf Edge shields up. He also didn't have, or Surf Edge, the Decidueye shields up. I think I'm pretty happy with this, unless it's double on the back. But no, doesn't seem to have double. Brings out Surf Edge into my Decidueye. I go straight for the Frenzy Plant here. Honestly, I probably should have overfarmed a little more, but it's fine. I'm gonna outpace this Surf Edge either way. He's gonna throw a Night Slash here, which I do shoot up. I think I throw a little bit early here. Also, Spirit Shackle would have been enough. I was kind of nervous during this game, so this first 2 are not played perfectly. I think I should have thrown the Spirit Shackle there, would have knocked out the Surf Edge already. And because I didn't throw Spirit Shackle, I can't get to a Frenzy versus the Den. I'm just gonna have to settle with the Spirit Shackle. Otherwise, he would have gotten the Play Rough onto my Decidueye before I was gonna go to the Frenzy Plant. So just get off a Spirit Shackle. I got very lucky with the drop there. Now I bring out double. I was expecting him to try to catch on the Decidueye, so I didn't throw the Body Slam just yet. Now out it comes. Gotta throw Payback here, because I'm pretty sure Body Slam does not knock out just yet. Throw it right before I can get to the Frenzy. Bye-bye the Decidueye. Out comes the Den. The Den, if this is a Discharge, I win the game. If it's a Play Rough, double might take it, but no, it goes down. Now it's all down to the Decidueye. Can the Decidueye farm down? It cannot farm down. The Den gets to a Discharge, which will certainly knock out by the Decidueye. And it all comes down to fast attacks. Surf Edge counters down to the Den, takes it on 1 HP, and I win that game. Just absolutely wild. Out comes the Decidueye now versus my Azumarill. I was like, he's not gonna run the Decidueye this time, right? I'm gonna bring Azumarill for some bulk, but no, it's Decidueye again. But seeing as it is Astonish Decidueye, this is not the worst. I get to my Ice Beam, I just threw it right away. Expecting him not to throw, so I get the first shield there, which is great. At this point, I just play the same game as game number 2, and try to go for shield advance to Decidueye. Actually, I waited a turn there because we're expecting him to maybe catch Ice Beam or something like the Den, and I did not want that to happen. So I waited a turn, but he actually just threw, which is fine as well. Now the Decidueye is not that high in energy, and I can bring in my own. Just shield once, farm all the way down, and it's looking like game 2 all over again. Farm it down with Astonishes. He does get the defense drop, but that's not really gonna matter, since he's bringing in Surf Edge right now. I go for the Frenzy here. I don't think Spirit Shackle would have been quite enough yet. He is at the Night Slash already, and I know I lose CMP, so I'm not going to go for my attack. Instead, I just get in a full free Astonish there. David knew he had to throw the Night Slash immediately, otherwise I would just be able to Frenzy, and allowed me to get that full free, what was it? Astonish in, which is just great. Throw my Frenzy. Again, I should have just Spirit Shackled here. I wasn't too sure about the damage range there, but yeah, that was definitely overkill. Still, that's fine. We get to another Frenzy versus the Den. Switch out now. The Den just barely able to get to the Play Rough though. This will definitely knock out Surf Edge. And again, it just comes out to fast attacks. Can I take one Thunder Shock? The Decidueye just barely hangs on and I win game number 3. We're now 2-1. I now have a little bit of cushion to fall back on, but I pick up a great lead with the Decidueye versus the Den. He switches out into Surf Edge. I'm gonna shield this as Night Slash does a ton to the Decidueye. Go for the Spirit Shackle after 3 more, just right before he gets to the next charge attack. After this, I don't think my Surfetch will have much play because there's likely gonna be the Den and the Decidueye in the back, so I'll just sack it here. Also, I got the defense drop there, but I think the defense drop kind of hurts me because I wanted to get enough farm off of his Surfetch to get to a Leaf Blade versus his the Den, but now I'm gonna get less counters, and he's also gonna get less counter damage onto me, which means this Den is gonna get a much bigger farm down with Thunder Shocks, and I'm still only gonna be able to get to 1 Leaf Blade. So I think that defense drop may have been kind of painful, but still it's fine. I get to the Leaf Blade here. He gets a good farm, but not enough farm to where he can get to 2 play rough versus my Decidueye, I think. So it's all good with me. Also, I'm expecting his Decidueye. My double is just very good there. I already have a lot of energy as well. Just shield this play rough as it would knock out at this point. In comes his own Decidueye. I just go straight Spirit Shackle. This will likely take a shield, and if it doesn't, I can Astonish down. Does take the shield. Now I bring out double. And this is game over. This is both, well, yeah, this should be game over. I even over farm by 1. David tries to go for a charge attack priority tie there, which is smart because that may be like his only chance of winning. But no, I knew that all I needed to do was just over farm by 1 double kick, because that means I can outpace it then to a charge stack here, since there were still more than 6 turns away from a discharge. So yeah, I get to the Body Slam versus then, and I win game number 4. We still did play game number 5 with him. I won't be showing that. It was a good game, but yeah, I've already won the tournament here. I'm 3-1 versus David. I ended up winning the final game just barely as well. Like, these were all very, very close. Yeah, look at this. It comes down to him Spirit Shackling my double, and somehow that didn't knock out, which was just absolutely crazy. So I go 4-1 versus David as well. Win the tournament, which, yeah, just pretty great. GG. Thank you so much to Inadequance for hosting these tournaments. They are so much fun. And if you, the viewer, wants to join in these tournaments as well, you can. They are open for everyone. So I'll put the link down to Inadequance's socials in the description down below, and you can figure it out from there. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.